All right. Welcome back to the middle of nowhere. I know it's been a bit. I did record some videos that I was in the middle of editing and then realized about halfway through I accidentally bumped the camera because I used my phone to record my videos. But I bumped the camera setting into slow-mo. It was quite comical. It made for a good laugh. Needless to say, I couldn't use that. I couldn't change it back into what I had recorded. It was a couple book reviews. So hopefully I can re-record those, get them back to you. But until then, I'm going to give you my September MBR. All right. So I am doing a readathon in the month of September on the Wizards Enclave Discord for something or other, hosted by several well-known people, namely Andrew's Wizardry Reads, who I count as a very good friend, Kayla from Kay's Hidden Shelf, Patrick from Patrick Ryan, Jordan the Boiled Jellyfish, Nico, and Jake the Bookish Drummer. I believe I got them all. If not, I will have the list of their names. I will link their channels in the description box below. I know they're all phenomenal. I look up to each and every one of them and am proud, I'm just happy that they include me in their wide, vast pool of followers and readers and whatnot. So I am not going to talk about all of the books I will be reading during the month of September. It just gets too long sometimes when I plan them all out, as well as I am once again a judge for SBSFC, which is the self-published science fiction competition, because I love myself some good sci-fi. And I will be having a video come out later about those books. I'm not going to talk about them in this video. I don't want to do too much repetitiveness, as well as sometimes I just like leaving it open. I found out this last month I did read quite a few books. I'm also not going to do a full recap. I'm just going to talk about a few books here and there. That way you get more in-depth on my thoughts. Please let me know down in the comments down below if you would prefer to hear more of my thoughts on the books or just to see the quantity of books I read and how many I read. Sometimes when I hit the shorter books on audio, I can fly through them pretty quick, especially now that I am doing a bit more driving just with my personal life. All right. Before we get into the books, please like and subscribe, share, tell your friends. Let's see if we can get my subscriber count up a little bit higher, just so that it encourages me to keep making more videos. Anyway, I love hearing from you guys. Thank you for tuning in, and let's get to the books. All right. I know I'm going to talk about 4 books for sure, maybe throw a few surprise ones in there, and we'll go from there. The first one that I'm going to read is a review copy from the author. He reached out through email looking for reviewers, and I am on the reviewer list for Bain, the book publisher. I did a video about some of them, and this video made an appearance. But this month I will be reading Lord of a Shattered Land by Howard Andrew Jones. So this is kind of a throwback to older style fantasy, especially the cover makes it look like an older style. But I know it's translated, from what I understand, it's written as if it's a translation or transcribed by one character about this main character Hanavar and how he became to be the Lord and exact revenge. Let's see if I can get... Yeah. I'm just going to read one little paragraph. It says, "A vast empire's greatest foe, a conquered people's last hope. His name is Hanavar, and he will set his people free." So, not gonna lie, I kind of got Moses from the Bible vibes a little bit. Let my people go. But no, it sounds very interesting. It sounds like older style epic fantasy. I know it's sword and sorcery, so I'm looking forward to see what's in store, and there's been high praise for it. And I was really intrigued when the author reached out via email for the reviewers. And so I graciously accepted a copy. He sent me an ebook. I've picked up a physical copy just because it sounded really good and something like I'd be really interested in. And so we're going to start off the month with Lord of the Shattered Land. This next book will not be a surprise. The read along, which is one of the videos I recorded in slow-mo of the Bone Ships, was extremely successful. We even had a Q&A with the wonderful author R.J. Barker. I'm sure he's not watching my video, but I am incredibly grateful that he took an hour out of his time just to answer a few of our questions about the first book of the Tidechild trilogy, and really got me excited to continue going. So the second book that I'm going to talk about today is Call of the Bone Ships, which is book 2, and continuing my read along for the Tidechild trilogy. So we'll have this book and one more book. So if you haven't started but still want to join in the read along, the channel's still up, so you can read all of our comments. You can read the Q&A. It is in the Page Turners Discord, of which I am a member and help run. I don't do a whole lot. Bo does all the heavy lifting, but I help run, and you can read everything there. There's now the new channel for Call of the Bone Ships. I'm very excited to keep going with it, especially with the water dragons, the Kishans, and I've heard that this one just takes it up a notch. And with how incredibly good the Bone Ships was, I can't imagine that this one can top that to the extent that they were. But I do know that in the Wounded Kingdom, I think I got it right, in his Wounded Kingdom trilogy with Gerton, but each book got better and better, and it just amazed me, the detail of planning and how it unfolded and going that way. And I look forward to continuing the story of Jorah and Twiner and Lucky Mies. We also have my monthly buddy read with the wonderful group of friends that I look forward to reading with every month. And this one we're doing The Bloody Chorus by John Marco. I know he reached out on Twitter of how to bump it up on my TBR. Well, you got the interest of all of my buddy read friends. And so now we are going to be, it got bumped up on my TBR for sure, but we will be reading The Bloody Chorus. I know it's focused on a son whose father was murdered. He's now in charge of a kingdom, I believe. It's an island nation, so more nautical fantasy. Apparently that I've been reading a lot of that lately. So another nautical fantasy, kind of a ragtag group of people. But it sounds really interesting as he tries to hunt for his father's killer, as well as run this island nation and discover who he is and what he is supposed to do. Was on my TBR already. Was very interested in reading it. I'm glad that we bumped it up, and I look forward to seeing what it's all about, see what it really is. Especially as he searches to get justice, is what it says. All right. Now we get to see one of my favorite covers from my shelves again. If you haven't seen my favorite covers video, I highly recommend you do so. Anyway, this is another review copy provided by the author. I'm trying to get caught up on them. I'm trying to slot these in. I know it's probably not in the order that you, if you've provided me a copy, would like them to be, but it's just kind of, I do let my mood kind of hit me, like guide me in the way that it should, as to what I really want to read. That being said, Renia has made the cut for the month of September. It's been on my list, and this is probably one of the most gorgeous books I own. First of all, the color palette and the cover is beautiful beyond my imagination. Sprayed edges is fantastic. This is a high quality hardcover. That being said, I highly look forward to seeing what the author Carl Forshaw has put together. I've heard really great things and really look forward to reading this one as well. All right, so hopefully I had no technical difficulties this time. Those are a few of the books that I'll be reading. I know I will be reading some SPSFC, especially as we get through the initial huge chunk. I probably won't be reading 100% of all the books I touch, as I'll be looking for some that really capture my attention as I read the first little bit just to see if I want to continue going. That being said, I will have a full video probably later next week, in the coming week, of the books that are part of my team. I am on Wayward Stars, which is headed by the wonderful and uncomparable Shaggy Shepherd, who does have her proofreading business, which if you're an author, highly recommend looking into her line of work. But I will go into more discussion about those books and what my participation will be on in SPSFC. Anyway, what are you guys going to be reading? Are you guys doing any readathons? Any of these books interest you? You do want to do buddy reads with me? Let me know. Reach out to me. I will also have my review email down below so that you can reach out to me if you are interested in doing so. I will say it's not a fast turnaround for those books, but I do love talking to the authors and just seeing what they have to read or have written and going from there. Anyways, good to see you guys all again. Thank you for watching. As always, happy reading and stay great.